Well, I've entitled today's address as From the Unreal to Reality, which are some words which are taken from the Upanishads. Some words that are basically involved and concerned with what it is to be free. Firstly, I want to look at today why it is we do what we do on a personal level in the context of our modern world, and why it is we do the things we do as part of a liberal religious community such as ours. What is distinct about the Unitarian approach to life, the way that we engage with our world, that makes me, and I assume all of you because you're here, come here on a Sunday morning, especially in the depths of winter? So firstly, I want to share a conversation I had with my eldest daughter, Molly, when she was just 3 years old. It's quite a long time ago now. She's 1 year old. I know, I don't look old enough. And she has bright purple hair now and constantly wears black. I guess you would term her as a goth. When they get to about 2.5, 3 years old, everything is a question. Everything is relentlessly asked about and inquired upon. Why is the sky up there, Daddy? Why have I got fingers? One day when I was chief parent in charge, Molly was absolutely relentless with her questions. And as a Unitarian, I kind of feel like I've got to answer those questions, and I don't want to dissuade her from asking the questions in the first place. Part of our religious movement is about the inquiring mind. So what kind of minister or father would I be if I stopped her asking the questions? Got towards somewhere near the end of the day, and Molly, like a Zen master, uttering a teaching koan, which is the teaching technique used by Zen Buddhists to trip the mind through paradox to a deep understanding, asked me the question to end all questions. Daddy, yes, darling, what's real? Exactly. In a stunned silence, my mind attempted to grasp the answer, and I'm afraid I resorted to a rather glib response. Daddy's hugs are real, darling. A response which I don't think that she was too satisfied with. And it's a question that's just as poignant now in my mind, especially in what has been termed this post-truth era. I accept that on a personal level, the truth we seek is only ever our own truth. Truth with a lowercase t. And it's not the entire story. As we all come from a particular perspective. We're all partial creatures, born within a particular social, historical, and political context. A context that colours our perception and the sense of who we think we are as beings. In our social world, with its competing truths vying for our attention, life can seem rather confusing. And it can seem quite an appealing way and less labour-intensive to cherry-pick the truth that is convenient to us. Pick the truth that in a glib sense denotes where we are in life. But it is the easy one understanding of truth, even on a personal level, that is maybe not the path that we should take if we are aiming to go deeper and find meaning. In the first line of the first chapter of the Tao Te Ching, it states, "The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. The way that can be talked about is not the way." Meaning that there are limits to the words that we use to describe those depths of our human being, our being human, Our words can only ever bring us in either far or close proximity to the truth. They can never contain the truth in and of itself. Daniel Ladinsky, who translated many of Hafez's poems into modern language that have been so popular in books such as The Gift, translates one of Hafez's poems. I have 1,000 brilliant lies for the question, how are you? I have 1,000 brilliant lies for the question, what is God? If you think that the truth can be known from words, if you think that the sun and the ocean can pass through that tiny opening called the mouth, someone should start laughing. Someone should start wildly laughing. Now, laughing. Which is meaning to say that those words cannot bring us to a greater understanding. We cannot sum up the truth entirely with the words that we speak. In my mind, there is an inherent tendency in humanity to seek meaning, whether it's through science, poetry, or religion. We are story-led creatures, each one of us living out our narrative in a world of competing narratives. But does that mean that all truth, that which we perceive to be real, is relative? I guess if we never go deeper into the sense of who we are and the reason for our being, that could be the case. Especially in an age where we are bombarded with information from all sides. That is not meaning to say that our truth is unobtainable. We just have to develop the skills to separate the wheat from the chaff. The Upanishads, that I quoted earlier, has this wonderful saying, lead me from the unreal to reality. And Rabindranath Tagore, the Bengali poet and writer, who won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 in his work, The Religion of Man, follows these words with, for Satyam is Anandam, the real is joy. For when we get a sense of what is real for us, however that manifests, we feel more at peace and have a sense of joy in our daily lives. But for us to determine what is real for us within the perennial process of going deeper and not remaining on the surface of understanding, we need to find a place where we can explore those ideas. To illustrate our current condition, there is a story of an explorer. He went to South America, and on this expedition he wanted to travel from one side of a jungle to another, so enlisted the help of local tribesmen. And so they traveled the arduous journey for one full day. Went to sleep, got up the next morning, and traveled for another full day. And then the explorer on the third day tried to get the tribesmen up and going like he did the 2 previous days, but they would not move. And so he said to the translator, why aren't they moving? And the translator said, they can't move. They have to stay where they are because their soul needs to catch up with their body. And maybe this is the answer, friends, in answering those maladies of our modern age. For many of us, with our busy, busy lives, we are bombarded with information that we rarely have time to digest. We rarely have time to allow our soul to catch up with our body. We rarely have time to understand our world and ourselves in any kind of authentic way, as we're always on to the next thing with barely enough time to think about what has gone before. Stillness, reflection, and living into our aspirations for ourselves and creating meaningful community rarely get the opportunity to be fully expressed in the busy daily activities that most of us have. Our soul doesn't get chance to catch up with our body. More than this, though, friends, If we find ourselves yearning for deeper meaning in our lives and don't find a way of allowing ourselves to slow the pace and to remember who it is that we are amidst this activity, life passes by in the blink of an eye with an absence of fulfilling peace and joy. It is commonly believed that the most healthy mind is a mind that is peaceful, a mind that is calm. And we cannot bring about this peace of mind and this calm unless we set aside time in a purposeful way and considered way to engage what is real for us. For me as a Unitarian, the path of the open heart and the open mind that we tread together in a community such as this one is an opportunity and an invitation just to pause for a while, to gather ourselves, to find what is real for us. For here we are not told what it is that we should think or what it is that we should believe. Here we have the opportunity to create community, to live into our highest values and explore the meaning of our own life. Hopefully, in and through that process, we may be able to dispel some of the outdated and unwanted narratives that keep us moving through the world in a frenetic manner. There are still ways in this world to move from cynicism of the political so-called post-truth era to a deeper, more grounded sense of who we are. And in this work, in our own small way, towards being a positive influence in creating the world that we wish to live in. And in my mind, communities such as this, the activities that we have of meditation, of singing, of reflection, of sharing time with one another, are opportunities to go deeper, to rewrite our narrative. Friends, they say that out of the mouths of babes. How was I to know that from the words of my daughter, all of those years ago, would come a profound question that would keep on reverberating through? So I ask you, friends, I'm going to pass this question on to you. What is it for you that is real? What is it that's real? Is it that we live in a hopeless world where life seems insignificant against the backdrop of political unrest? Is it that our minds are so busy that we rarely get time to appreciate the most wonderful human adventure? Or do we banish this sense of powerlessness by going deeper and creating a life that heals our world rather than harms it? It's up to you, friends. What is real for you? Amen.